In this video, I'm breaking down what Arc Raiders is building next this year, based on developer interviews and repeated statements, why PvE is going to get escalated, and what Arc Variants actually means, new maps, why there won't be an auction house, the skill tree and how they want to progress, and a lot more in this video. Let's go. Quick context first. The winter event ended, and the devs dropped those fun stat posts. Millions of snowballs, a suspicious amount of berries collected, and people playing instruments for 20 minutes straight like it's a cozy game night. Funny, sure, but the important part is what it signals. Their watching behavior. Not just what players say they do, what players actually do, where people farm, what they ignore, how often they engage, how often they avoid. That matters, because the next directions we're hearing about, they're basically responses to player behavior. Alright, now we go big. Let's start with the biggest topic, PvE. Right now, PvE in Arc Raiders has a problem that's kind of a compliment. Players got good. People learned patterns. People learned angles. People learned when an arc is dangerous. And when it's basically managed. There's even a loop the devs basically called out. You go in with a cheap loadout. You target parts, you rip reactors. You craft better tools that rip parts even faster. And you don't always need to finish the boss. It's smart, it's efficient, it's satisfying. And it also means the threat stops feeling like a threat. That's not PvE is bad. That's PvE got solved. So the direction from the dev interviews is clear. They want to escalate PvE as players get more advanced. And the key idea is variance, not bigger health bars, not more damage numbers, not bullet sponges. Variance like different attack patterns, different weapon loadouts on arcs, different armor, different weaknesses, same platform but a different fight. Here's the human translation. You shouldn't be able to see an arc and instantly go, yup, safe spot, free loot. They want uncertainty back, because uncertainty is what creates tension, and tension is what makes extraction games work. Now there's a second layer here, and it matters. A lot of players are basically playing PvE only. They manipulate aggression matchmaking, they avoid PvP pressure, they farm safely, and the devs don't want PvP to be constant combat. They want PvP to be a random threat. Someone could help you, someone could rob you, someone could ignore you, but if PvE is solved and PvP is avoidable, the raid loses that feeling of danger. So PvE escalation isn't just make it harder, it's bring back risk. And they've also mentioned the practical constraint. They can't just add insane mechanics that blow up servers. So don't expect a planet killer arc next week. Expect practical escalation. More, wait, this one behaves different. More, okay, we need to adapt. More fights where your autopilot route stops working. And honestly, that's the right move, because arcs are the signature of Arc Raiders. If arcs become background noise, the whole game goes flat. There's also a smaller detail that could matter a lot later. Arcs tied to maps. We already have examples of certain archetypes feeling map specific, and there was a hint that this approach may expand, like the Shredder being on Stella Montis, and the wording around it suggests it may not stay there forever. Not confirmed, exact maps, timing or how it rolls out, but the direction is interesting. Maps won't just be remembered by layout, they'll be remembered by the threat. This is the map with that arc. This is the map where you need that plan. That's how you create identity, and identity is how you create stories people actually remember. Now maps. Yes, new maps are coming. Plural, some smaller, some on the scale of Stella Montis, and at least one that's bigger than Bluegate or Spaceport. But here's the part people skip. The dev problem is not how do we make it bigger. The dev problem is how do we make huge maps stay interesting, because Dead Space kills extraction games. If you spend 2 minutes jogging through emptiness, you're not tense, you're bored, and boredom is the fastest way to make people quit. So the direction they've talked about is density and pacing. More meaningful points of interest, better spacing of encounters, clear reasons to rotate, less wasted travel, and you can tell they're studying player behavior to solve it. Where do players linger? Where do they speedrun? Which areas get ignored unless an event forces people there? What routes become the only route because everything else feels empty? That's the kind of data that shapes good maps. Now, let's address the spicy theories. Dynamic weather, environmental shifts, flooding zones, volcano map with lava hazards. Cool ideas. But here's the label. Not confirmed / needs test. Until we see it in an official roadmap or patch notes, it stays theory. What is confirmed is the mindset. They're trying to make big maps feel alive, not like cardio, and if they solve that, Arc Raiders gets way more replayable, because movement becomes a decision, not a chore. Quick break. This is where it actually helps. If you want a place to trade blueprint info, compare routes, build squads, and share repeatable testing without the usual weird internet energy, that's what the HeavyEgg Lab Discord is for. Blueprint trading, route nodes, squad finders, shared learning, link is in the description. Alright, back to the systems. Trading is a big one because it can ruin a game fast, and the direction from the dev talk is clear. No classic auction house, not now, not later, and the reasoning is smart. Auction houses turn everything into currency per hour. Once that happens, the map doesn't matter, the risk doesn't matter, the loot doesn't feel earned, it feels purchased. Extraction games die when loot stops being earned under pressure, so instead they're leaning into social physical trading. Right now trading is basically load in with a friend, drop an item on the floor, pick it up. One or two at a time. Awkward, slow, and kinda silly. The idea they mentioned is making it more organic. mechanic. You hold an item out. The other player interacts to take it from your hand. That sounds tiny, but it changes the tone. It's more human, more readable, more in-world, and it avoids creating a global economy monster. Now, how deep it goes beyond that? Not confirmed/needs test. Could be basic gestures, could be limited exchanges at specific locations, could be trade offers that still force you to physically move through the world. But the direction is cautious on purpose, because easy trading sounds great until it deletes half the reason to raid. So if you're hoping for a full market board where you buy anything instantly, yeah, I wouldn't bet on it. Skill tree. This one got acknowledged in a way that's honestly refreshing. Some skills have unclear impact, some skills are unloved, some skills are basically never chosen, not just by players, even internally. That's a design mismatch, not a player problem. And the dev direction is, buffs are on the radar. Now, there was a specific vibe around melee-focused skills. The game just isn't being played at the ranges those skills were designed for. So those nodes don't feel practical. That's the kind of thing that needs either a redesign or a new purpose. But here's the balance line they keep bringing up. They don't want high-level players to become untouchable. They don't want a level 75 player to have an overwhelming advantage over a newer player purely because of skill points. So don't expect the tree to become veterans or superheroes. Expect more satisfying choices, more consistent value, fewer dead nodes, and fewer skills that feel like they do nothing. Also, important clarification, more skill points forever, not happening. Extra points per expedition are being phased out, because more points doesn't fix bad nodes, it just lets you grab everything. The real fix is better nodes, better choices, bigger impact per point, and if they nail that, the skill tree stops being a checklist and starts feeling like progression again. Loadouts. Everyone feels this. You die a couple raids in a row, and suddenly you're playing inventory click simulator. Bandages, shields, ammo, attachments, augments. It's not hard, it's just annoying, and it slows the game down. The dev direction is clear. Presets are planned, not next patch, but it's a priority. Even basic presets save a stupid amount of clicks. Loadout A always has 5 bandages, always has 3 shield recharges, always has this ammo stack. That alone saves time every single death. And a dev even mentioned sometimes picking a free loadout just to skip the menu and get back into the raid. When the devs are menu skipping, you know it's a real problem. Now, auto buy, auto craft, auto upgrade, not confirmed/needs test. But basic presets alone would improve the day-to-day feel massively. Matchmaking gets misunderstood constantly. The devs have said the system isn't just looking at your gear and mirror matching you with similar gear opponents. It's more complex. It looks at behavior and combat signals. Who fired first? Who dealt damage? Who took damage? How engagements played out. That's why you can land in PvE heavy lobbies, PvP heavy lobbies, or mixed ones, and you don't always know which you're getting. That uncertainty is intentional, because in an extraction game, certainty kills tension, and tension is the point. Weapons. There's a clear direction here too. More rebalancing is coming. Some low-tier weapons have punched way above their weight. Some higher rarity weapons don't feel worth it, especially when durability burns fast. So the dev direction is basically, rarity should feel meaningful again, not just slightly higher stats, but real upside, reliability, roll, longevity. And that kind of tuning usually isn't a one-patch miracle, it's a continuous pass, which is good. Because the worst feeling in an extraction game is, you bring a rare weapon and it feels like a fragile trophy that explodes in your hands. If they fix that, gear choices become exciting again. Now events. The direction is, more frequent events. Smaller, faster, more experimental. And the cadence is still being tuned. There's a rumor floating around about toxic zones and environmental hazards tied to a dam area, based on someone changing their PC date and seeing weekly tasks. That's spicy, but we label it correctly. Not confirmed/needs test. It could be real. It could be leftover tasks. It could be internal scheduling weirdness. Still, worth watching. Because if environmental hazards become a recurring event theme, that's a massive upgrade to raid variety. It forces movement, it changes rotations, it creates new risk without needing new weapons. So I'm watching it, but until it's official, it stays in the rumor box. So, no official roadmap yet. And yeah, people are tired of hearing plans. That's valid. But here's why I'm still paying attention. These aren't cosmetic tweaks. These are foundation changes. PvE escalation, map pacing, trading risk versus convenience, skill tree relevance, loadout friction. These don't just change one patch, they change how Arc Raiders feels every day you log in. Quick note and I'm gone. If you want to support the channel directly, there's YouTube membership, badges, custom emotes, and a private Discord chat with me. Totally optional, no pressure. Alright, if you had to pick one system to get fixed first, PvE escalation, loadout presets, skill tree buffs, or map variety, drop it in the comments. Because the devs are watching behavior, and so are we. See you in the next one.